In 1863, the English Football Association came up with the rules of the sport we have all come to know and love, but things haven't stayed the same since then. Some of the game's top stars have forced rule changes. Players have shown they are not only skilled at playing the beautiful game, but can also influence matters off the pitch. Here are 5 players who have left their mark on football history and the rule books. Number 1. Diego Forlan. Did you know that before 2004, players were not shown yellow cards for celebrating with their shirts off? Now you know. It's November 2nd, 2002. Diego Forlan, who had been struggling to hit top form at new club Man United, is subbed on during a Premier League clash against Southampton. The game is tied at 1-1, and the Red Devils are in desperate need of a savior. The Uruguayan then swoops in and scores a screamer, which turns out to be the winner. He naturally took off his shirt and wheeled off to celebrate wildly. But when it's time to put his shirt on, disaster strikes. He's not able to. Keen on not letting his team play with a man less, he goes on playing shirtless with his shirt in his hands, and even made a tackle, much to a resounding roar from the fans. It took 3 Man United staff members to help Forlan put his shirt back on when play stopped momentarily. This hilarious moment gave birth to a rule change. In 2004, FIFA changed the regulation, directing that players can't take off their shirts or even cover their faces with them. Players who disobeyed this rule would be shown a yellow card. But did it stop players from taking off their shirts during celebrations? We're not so sure about that. Number 2. Emmy Martinez. The Aston Villa man masterminded Argentina's World Cup win. He put on quite a show in Qatar. In the final match against France, he distracted the French penalty takers, taunted them, and showboated as he made key saves. He became a hero in his home country, but for many fans across the world, it was not a good show, and the International Football Association board took note, and they have decided to change the rules for all goalkeepers. Starting from July 1st, goalkeepers will not be allowed to deliberately distract penalty takers by touching the goalposts or the net that delays the execution of a penalty or unfairly distracts the taker. Well, this means Martinez will no longer play his mind games or show off his footwork skills. Clearly, he will have to find a new way to get into the heads of his opponents. Number 3. Jean-Marc Bosman. In 1990, the Belgian's contract with RFC Liège was expiring, and the midfielder reached an agreement to join French side Dunkirk. But Liège demanded a transfer fee that the French club were not willing to pay. This saw the move fall through, and as a consequence, the then 25-year-old Bosman was forced to settle for a place on the bench. To make it worse, his salary was cut by a whopping 70%, which was very unfair, although it was within the rules at the time. As you would expect, Bosman was not happy about it, and he sought to have it addressed. He lodged a case at the European Court of Justice, arguing that the rules were in breach of restrictive trade. The judges agreed with him. In 1995, the ruling that players were free to move clubs once their contract had expired came into place. It changed football in a way never seen before, and it was the start of player power, as clubs could no longer hold on to players. Many of the game's big names, including Andrea Pirlo, Robert Lewandowski, and Paul Pogba, benefited from this. Number 4. Frank Lampard. For a long time, FIFA and UEFA resisted calls to bring in any sort of technology to the game. They did not want to overcomplicate what they saw was a simple game by introducing cameras or sensors. For some time, they tried to tackle the issue of mistakes during a match, including bringing in extra referees behind the goals, but it did not solve the problem. The clamor for a goal line technology became too loud, though, during the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, in a match between England and Germany. The Three Lions trailed 2-1 before halftime when the ball fell to Lampard on the edge of the box. He unleashed a shot which hit the underside of the bar before bouncing over the goal line. Unfortunately for Lampard and England, neither the referee nor the linesman had a clear view, and the goal was not given, much to the dismay of fans across the world. England lost 4-1, and even though Germany were by far the better team, who knows what could have happened if the goal was allowed to stand. After the high-profile controversy, FIFA were forced to act, and that's how the goal line technology came into play thanks to Lampard's misfortune. Number 5. Peter Schmeichel. Football is littered with underdog stories of the recent past, from Greece 2004 to FC Porto in the same year, and even Leicester in 2015-16. But before all this, Denmark had done it in 1992, when against all odds they lifted the Euro title. The way they achieved the title, though, involves some housery that will forever be remembered, since it led to the change of a football rule. Their goalkeeper, Schmeichel, had an archaic time-wasting tactic, where he would take a back pass, wait for an opponent to approach before picking it up. It was pure anti-football genius. genius, and he applied it throughout the tournament. Back then, this was allowed. The goalkeeper could pick up a pass given by a teammate without facing any punishment. Immediately after the tournament, though, FIFA abolished the rule, ushering in a new era of what we know today. Which of these do you think has been the most important rule change in football? Drop us a comment below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.